Hi everyone, my name is Minkyu and I am a third grade student in middle school. I want to talk about something about things in the future, not things like what you should be doing in high school or stuff like that, but about dreams. And dreams is a really vague thing, but I guess all of you guys have some sort of dream inside you. It could be something like what you want to become in the future, or it could be something like what you want to achieve. It could be as small as something like getting full marks in an exam or something. And dreams come in different scales and in different directions, right? But there's one similar thing about every dream is that you need to do something in order to achieve your dream. You can't just sit there in the room by yourself and wait until the dream comes true. Dreams don't come true, you make the dream come true. And there are things you need to do to achieve your dream. Obviously, you need to put in some effort, and it also takes time. But there is one thing, one flaw that you may experience, and that's the natural unfairness of the society. I'll take an example. There are two people there, person A and person B. They both dream of becoming a basketball player. Basketball players need height. You need to be tall in order to become a basketball player. Those people, they both work hard, they both train hard, they have a really healthy diet in order to become fit, but they have one fatal difference, is that person A is a lot shorter than person B. And height, as I said, is a really important thing for basketball players. And just because person A is born to be small and short, that gives him a disadvantage in trying to become a basketball player. And then, so person A comes up and says, this is unfair because I did not choose to become born as a short person, and person B did not choose to become tall. Right? I'm just born short and he's just born tall. It's a genetic thing and it's a natural thing. Right? I did not choose to do it, but then this gave me a disadvantage and gave him an advantage. So this is unfair, he said. But the real thing is, that is true. Inequality does exist in our society, and it's a natural thing because every single thing we do, every single action we do causes an effect, causes a consequence, and that consequence is what makes those inequalities. But what you need to know is that inequality and inequity is not the same thing. Inequality does exist everywhere. For example, we're born tall, some people are born short, that's an inequality. But that's something we cannot fix. But inequity is a real different thing. Inequity depends more on your decisions and how you live your life, your attitudes and stuff like that. You may be born small, so you maybe not be able to become a basketball player, but you have different options in the way of living your life. That was my first point. And my second point is, there are people who talk about rich people, wealthy people, and how rich people are always rich because they get inheritance. But the real fact is, if you have a look at the statistics, the top 1% people in the economical hierarchy, so the top 1% wealthiest people, they change each year. That means if I'm rich right now, does not guarantee that I will still be rich in the next 10 years. I may become a bit less rich, and there will be new people who become richer than me in the next 10 years. And that may be because some of the people in the top 1%, some of the wealthiest people, may be overspending a bit too much and becoming less rich, but that's the rare case. And in the general case, it's that the less richer people tend to come up the ladder through some economical activity, and they earn money for themselves. And that means you can also do that. Right? I cannot guarantee you that you'll all be millionaires in the next 10 years, but I can give you a possibility that it may come true. And what I am able to guarantee is that you'll be at least be able to feed yourself. Is that cannot do everything that you want to do, but you are able to do something that can feed you, that can protect you, and you may live a decent life. So what do you need to do in order to live a decent life? It is something really obvious, to try hard, but not just to try hard, but have a dream. The dream can be as big as something like winning an Olympic medal, or it can be as small as something like doing well in an exam. But you have a dream, but don't just dream it, but do something that will get you closer to that dream. You can try hard, you may be studying, you may want to exercise a bit more. And one more thing is that envy is a really crucial thing, because if you see some people who want a fair society where there's no inequality and everyone just works the same amount and gets the same amount of money paid back, what they really want to do is not to help the poor people, but they just want the richer people to get not rich. And that's what makes them think that a fair society is a good one, but it's not really true, because it's not just to help the poor people, but it's just that I don't like the rich people because I think that they're born rich. But that's not really true, right? Rich people, most of the rich people are rich because they did something with themselves that made them rich. They worked hard in the young years, and they did something, some economical activities that made them rich, that earned themselves money. So you do your own work, you live your own life, and you do something right now that can bring you a bit closer to your dream, right? And one more thing, take the risk. People these days don't like risks because if you fail, they think that it's the end of the world. It's not, because you have a lot of chances. You have thousands of chances during your life. They're waiting for you, and you don't need to succeed in every single one of those chances, right? You'll fail in a lot more of them, right? The things that you succeed is just a tiny bit of the whole thing, but all you need to do in order to live a successful life is just to take a few of those chances and succeed in a few of those things, right? There are thousands of them, and you just have to catch maybe 3 or 4. So take the risk and live your own life. I think that's my speech. Thank you.
Hi, this is Yani Kim, and I am going to talk about my life starting this speech. I was born and raised here in South Korea. Since I was a pretty fast talker, and along with the English kindergarten boom, my parents sent me to one. You're only supposed to speak in English and learn English from Native American/British teachers. English kindergarten is where I learned my ABCs and got my basic English skills along with a full American accent, which totally changed over time. If I could choose one thing I never regret and I'm thankful for my parents the most, it would definitely be them sending me to an English kindergarten. Spending years here, I got so much more opportunities and made me consider English as something obvious as Korean, not a subject that you have to study for, tests in school. It has always been something. It always has been just another way to communicate with more people to me. But this year, everything has changed. I recently started to go to an English academy like anyone here goes to, by a friend's suggest. The teachers there kept telling me, I know you guys are good with English, but are you here to be just good? No, you're here to get 100 on every test and be one of the top 4 of each high school. And yes, this is the trip of Korea. Don't get me wrong, I love Korea. This is where I spent the majority of my last 15 years. The food, the K-pop, the K-drama culture and tongue, which is a bond between people, even new people, is amazing. But here in Korea, students go work so hard for 9 to 12 years to go to a fine and famous college slash university, only to get a better job, only to earn more money. Almost every student go to academies called hagwon because everyone goes to one, and as a fact, there is this study that students get better grades when going to hagwon. So until middle school, most students spend more time going to these hagwons and doing the homeworks they gave you. Some even do their homeworks during school. And one more thing I want to talk about is this competitionism planted and rooted down deep in Korea. As you all know, we have honoristics, a whole new formal grammar to speak to older people. You can't eat before the elders eat, or you will be considered rude. And I think this is absolutely ridiculous. I'm not talking about this because I hate Korea or to tell you guys should stop going to Hagwon, and I just wanted to talk about this for a long time, and I want you to think about our culture more. I think you should know that there is more than why you are living here in Korea, and just think about Korea one more time. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Hwang Yeonji, and I'm here to talk about persecuted people and full compensation of their suffering. There are many people around us who were once persecuted and are still persecuted. For example, slaves, Jewish, refugees, or women who are not guaranteed human rights are those. They're suffering from the things that we can't dare imagine, and we don't know how many people will also be persecuted in the future. Therefore, I want to explain why we must sympathize with their suffering and pay for the sins that we have contributed to persecuting them or have turned a blind eye to them. First of all, persecuted people should be able to enjoy the past and the present that they had no choice but to let go. There's no turning back time. Even if persecuted people regain their rights and freedom, they will not be able to get their pastime back. It will be very unfair and miserable for them. That's why we have to help them live a better life before they die and share what we enjoyed so that they don't feel sorry for the years that passed. For example, let's assume that you just regained your human rights and have waited human rights. You would have a little hard time when you lost your human rights, have waited for your rights to be gained and reborn as a well-living citizen. However, if you have a life that is the same or worse than before you regained your human rights, wouldn't the past of your struggle and effort feel like nothing? Secondly, we have a duty to help those who are restricted freedom for unfair reasons. As we are people who enjoy freedom, people who can judge what is right and wrong, we must help those who are in injustice. Actually, they may not want so much help. Just getting out of the situation can be appreciated for them. But to do so, there are lots of difficulties just with themselves alone. In that case, the third party should play a role in resolving conflicts and rescuing victims. Slaves, for example, tried a lot on their own, but in the end, it took a third-party effort to change people's thoughts. Opponents of slavery gathered to announce the Declaration of Emancipation, and even after slavery became illegal, many third parties gathered to spread the idea that white and black people are equal. For the last reason, let me focus on the refugees. This is also directly related to Afghanistan refugees, which are currently a hot topic internationally, should not be opposed. According to 1951 Refugee Convention, the definition of refugees is someone who is unable or unwilling to return to their country of origin owing to a well-founded fear of being persecuted for reasons of race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group. To summarize, they are persecuted people who have lost their nationality. They're considered as troublesome beings from who are not happy with them. However, for their point of view, they're free from the life-threatening countries, but still under the pressure of having to start from the bottom in other countries. Wouldn't it be harsh to survive in a place where the language doesn't work and has different culture? Besides, if the people there hate them, wouldn't they lose hope with the idea that no one welcomes them? You don't want to ignore people who are already burdensome. Therefore, we should try to help start a new life through compensation and create a global society where everyone can live happily. To conclude, I would like to give you some questions. Even children know that they should help those who in need. Then why shouldn't we help the persecuted? Or are you sure that you wouldn't be at the same situation in the future? Because we aren't at the same situation doesn't mean that we can ignore them. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Hi, we are Cien and Minsa. Today we are going to introduce all about Halloween. These are the topics. These are the topics that we are going to talk about.
What is Halloween? Halloween is celebrated on every October 31st. At the night of October 31st, the eve of All Saints' Day, it's commonly celebrated by children who dress in costumes and go door to door asking for candies. Halloween's origin dates back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. The Celts who lived 2,000 years ago, mostly in the area that is now Ireland and the United Kingdom and northern France, celebrated their New Year on November 1st. Celts believed that on the night before the New Year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred.
Next, I'm going to say what do we do on Halloween. In America, around Halloween, jack-o'-lanterns are made with pumpkins, and it's decorated in houses and shops. Also, children cosplay in the forms of demons, monsters, and witches, and shout trick or treat. Then candies and snacks are given as request for children. Moreover, young people enjoy Halloween nights with small parties or fireworks with their friends dressed in costumes. Halloween around the world. Mexico. Day of Dead is a national holiday in Mexico where sacrifices are held from October 31st to November 2nd to remember the dead and to pray for the prosperity of the living. This day is a day when dead people can visit the monks once a year to meet their families and friends. And to welcome it, each family and friends prepares special gifts for the dead.
Hong Kong. Hong Kong. The Hungry Ghost Festival, called Yuan in Chinese, starts on July 7th of the lunar calendar and is held throughout Hong Kong and China for months. This year's celebration began on August 15th and ended on September 15th. The festival includes parades, burning incense, food for the dead, and opera performance to entertain the soul. England. In England, large beads are come to make pumpkins. People carry pumpkins and sing night songs. Interestingly, in England, people knock on the door for money instead of candies. In some rural areas, turnip lanterns are placed on door pillars to expel ghosts. Also, stones, vegetables, and nuts are thrown into bonfires to scare ghosts. Let's get ready for Halloween. Now, it's time to enjoy Halloween. What should we prepare? First, we need various kinds of delicious desserts. Second, we need to prepare the most spooky and gorgeous costumes that will scare away the people.
Lastly, don't forget to buy party supplies that will make a wonderful Halloween party. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Kim Xian and I will tell you how the sloth survived today. Sloth means a combination of trees and sloths. Like its names, it moves very slowly on the tree. The average moving speed is 0.9 km per hour, but the reason it moves so slowly is because of its small muscle mass. I don't need much because I consume less energy due to my low muscle mass. So sloths rarely come down except for excretion once a week. There are even sloths who live alone all their lives because there are less to mate. These sloths have a lifespan of 10 to 30 years. It lives quite a long time in dangerous jungle. How can such a slow animal survive in the jungle for a long time? The answer is that sloths are slow. Sloths are too slow to stand out from predators. Even hairs grow from the inside to the outside and does not sleep even when it rains. Occasionally, rains correct on the fur and it makes the green algae grow on the fur, making it more invisible. The animal that poses a threat is an eagle, but the sloths move slowly or hardly move, so even that is not noticeable. So how did humans survive in the days of hunting? In fact, sloths are easy to hunt, but they don't have much taste and flesh, so they weren't their preferred prey. It is also said that sloths' muscles are many in the upper body and few in the lower body, so they crawl around. While searching for sloths, even such slow animals have survived in thousands of years. But I don't think there's a need to be in a hurry in all aspects. Thank you for listening.
Hello, I'm Cheon Park and I'm in second grade class 9. Today I want to talk to you about dreams. My dream is to be a teacher. We all have different dreams, but our purpose is same. It's making our dreams come true. We always try hard to make the dreams come true. In this process, we know our limits. It's making our dreams come true. In this process, we know our limits and sometimes struggle. At the time, how do you overcome it? Whenever I do, I think of Dr. Stephen Hawking. As you know, Dr. Stephen Hawking lived with a disability. Dr. Stephen Hawking didn't give up his scientific research that he loves, despite he had paralysis caused by disability. He published many books and gave many lectures for wider recognition. After that, he arranged the features of black holes and announced theses that had information about the universe. His thesis became very famous and he received many awards by his thesis. Since then, he has been a university professor in wheelchair because of his disability and left many scientific achievements. We are studying hard to get good grades on exam and going to academics for our dreams. At the end of the day, I found myself always exhausted. And one day I saw Dr. Stephen Hawking's effort and realized something. He had a disability, but he didn't care about it and tried hard to achieve his dream. So I can know if we all try hard, we can all achieve our dreams. I hope you won't give up running toward your dreams like Dr. Stephen Hawking. He said, however difficult life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. So don't be discouraged even if it's hard. And let's work hard toward our dreams. I support your dreams. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, my name is Kim Soo-yeon and I'm going to talk about how to memorize English words. Many students have a hard time memorizing complex English words, but this usually happens when they just memorize without any means or plans. So today, I will talk about how to memorize English words. The first way that I recommend is using words in a sentence. the less you guess the meaning of the word. For example, if you memorize oxygen, you can make sentences such as oxygen lets you breathe. However, you shouldn't make it a sentence that says oxygen is running out. In the first sentence, you can guess that oxygen has something to do with air. In contrast, the second sentence cannot be done the same. It doesn't give you a hint of what the word is about. I know this sounds a bit complex, but it is a good way to memorize complex English words. If your forte is not making sentences, you can try to use the second way, etymology. Etymology is helpful when you learn long words. I'll give you an example with the longest word in the English dictionary, pneumono-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. This word consists of 45 alphabets, and it will take a long time if you memorize the alphabets one by one. However, if you know etymology, this can be such easier, like this. Pneumono is lungs, ultra is over something, micro is very small, and so on. If you combine this, it can be made like very small silicon dioxide dust from the volcano that goes over the lung and develops an abnormal status. Even if you don't know what all that means, you can infer osis as a disease because it usually comes after a disease name. If that doesn't suit you, this one is the best and the easiest way. Finding one yourself. Some people prefer reading, some people prefer writing, some people prefer speaking out loud. There are various ways of memorizing. You just have to find what suits you best. Let me give you an example, me. When I was younger than now, memorizing wasn't my strongest suit. I learned that if I speak loudly, I can memorize things well. Now I rarely fail vocabulary tests. If you find a way that suits you like this, you will be able to memorize words quickly and efficiently. Thank you for listening.